So here's an example of finding the interquartile range for a data set. So, you can imagine that this is maybe scores on a quiz. Maybe the quiz had a total of 20 points available, and these are all the different scores. Remember, a data set just comes from us collecting data on a number of things. So we would just say, like, we would take the score from every single student, or maybe we take the weight of every bag of Skittles that we buy and see, if they're what they are. So anyway, we can imagine that this data set is maybe quiz scores. So we want to find the interquartile range. So we have to find the 5-number summary, because to find the interquartile range, we need to subtract quartile 1 from quartile 3. So we have to put the numbers in order. Then we find the middle number. And remember, when we're going to find the middle number, we just go ahead and separate it into 2 halves. And in this case, there isn't a middle number. So the median is actually the average of the 2 middle numbers, or the mean of the 2 middle numbers. So we divide those and we end up with 10.5, right? Because we want exactly halfway in between these 2 numbers. So our median is 10.5. So since there's no middle number, that's our median, and then we find each quartile. So this was our top half, this is our bottom half, and then this was our top half. And since there was no median, right, we don't leave any numbers out. This is our lower half, and this is our upper half. If there's a median, we just leave it right there in the middle. It doesn't belong in either half. And then to find our quartiles, we split these 2 halves in half. So we find that this is the half of the halfway point of the lower, and this is the halfway point of the upper. And again, since there's no middle number, we average these 2. Well, what's 4 plus 4 divided by 2? Well, that's 8 divided by 2, which is, 4, because, 4 is exactly in between 4 and 4. That may not be super obvious, but that, that makes sense, right? And then what's halfway in between 14 and 16? Well, it's 15. And again, we could add them together, get 30 divided by 2 and get 15. But this is going to be 15. So quartile 1 is 4, quartile 3 is 15. So then what's our interquartile range? Remember, this is just telling us how spread out is that middle half of our data, that middle 50%. So if I have this box plot that, looks something like this, and this is 4 and this is 15, I'm saying how far is it? How far does this box extend? Well, it extends 11, right? How far is it from 4 to 15? It's 11, because I would take 15 minus 4. So what this tells me is that 50% of my data is between the numbers 4 and 15. Or in other words, 50% of my students got a score somewhere in between 4 and 15.